Welcome back, everybody. On today's episode of Only Reviews, I gotta start working on my quest. So here's the first one. We're gonna look at one of my mates. Okay, this is decent. So what I'd like to do first is start off with the tank ships. Always the tank ships. I see you have UG, which is good. You want to take 10 out. Put Tiggerin in there. I saw Tiggerin in there. And then, do you have Lila? You don't have Lila. It would be a good idea to get Lila if you can. If not, you don't have enough defensive heroes. Park is up there. Let me see what Park does. I didn't have Park, but he's the first mate. Okay. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. This is what I would do. UG, Tiggerin in there, and then put Park as your gunner. You want to keep him in there. Defense, highest sustainability. Keep your defense ship the highest you can. Stack heroes in here that have the highest stamina. Give them all shields if you can. For defensiveness. Okay, so you got UG, Tiggerin, and then Park. Now let's go with your Boreas. You have some heals in there, so what I would recommend is putting in keep Umar, keep Elizabeth, and then put in Lena, because you took out Lena, right? So Lena goes into your heal right here, so you're freed up with Cordelia, right? So with Cordelia, your flagship here, you want to keep as technically another tank ship. You're running 4 DPS class, which isn't correct. It's like a glass cannon. You won't survive. It's good for PvE, but for PvP you won't survive. So what I would do to switch this up is put Cordelia in there. Yep, you got Chien out. So put Tien, Cordelia as your gunner. As your gunner. Oh, this is a hard one. Very challenging. Tien. Yeah, I would go with Tien, Jeanette, and then Cordelia. I probably that's your best bet. That should free up your flagship as being a true tank. You can keep your Stormbringer, looks set up correctly. Beggars, damage over time looks good. All these damages for now for a it looks like a little bit of a FTP account, somewhat of a little spender. I would go with leaving your Stormbringer alone. We talked to you about your borders already. Swapping Lena in there to increase the heals. The ship part looks good. I wouldn't change that. And your Orochi strategist, I throw in, I think Molly's a strategist. Can't remember. Just go to here. Come on. Yep, Molly is a strategist, and she's jack of all trades. Yeah. So you could throw Molly. Oh, that's me. You could throw Molly into your mix right here. But honestly, I wouldn't use Molly. I would actually put Griffin inside of your first mate position, give him a good weapon, and you're good to go. With Griffin, he's already awakened. He's just will have more stats and everything else, better than Molly, so I'd go with that one. Your artillery is decent, the best you can do so far, so I'd keep your artillery the way it is. What I see here for artillery, swap all your armor, the nice armors that you have, like the higher end ones, and give it to like UG, and then here you'll have, I believe, there's Tigrin, and then Park. Give it to Park. Remember, your Scepter has to be the most defensive ship, or whatever defensive ship you have out there has to be the most beefy, most survivability, most stamina, most everything. You want to keep that one the most healthy, right? And then your secondary ship should be your heal ship. So you want to keep the aggro away from your heal ship, put the healers on here and stack them. Because your secondary tank ship is lacking in defensive heroes, I suggest, like I said, putting Tien in here, Janet as a subclass DPS tank. You can increase the overall stats because of the SP tree, and then Cordelia, I think, is what I said for your gunner position. Overall, I think that's what you can do right now. Aside from any one of these navigators, you have your trinkets that are leveled up. If you don't use it, break it down. I've made a tutorial video about trinkets. If you have some time, watch it. But my suggestion is break those down. Always level up your main character's abilities, trinkets first. Get them maxed out, get them started out. You get the most benefits for the attributes of your main character. I think the numbers were like 3.31 factor rating. So every 1 point here is worth 3.3 points over as your navigator. So you always, it's 3 times as much as beneficial. So put it in your main slots. Other than that, I can't see any immediate suggestions that I would give you out with the current setup that you have. I think that's probably the best buffer that you can get out of it. Everything else with your ship parts looks acceptable. Oh, I'm sorry, your flagship, you have to swap it out. You're not going to need Fury. You're going to want Sacred for that one, because you are focused on DPS, which is a good thing, but for what means? If you're going to be going against other players, DPS is only applicable if your DPS outguns your opponent's defense. So if your opponent is stacking crazy defense, if your DPS isn't outrageously good, chances are you're not going to win. So the best bet in the game here is what I've always told all of my users or followers is that stack your defense, stack your health, get it way up there as much as you can. I know it's different from the suggestions of the tradition of wanting to go DPS of traditional games we play, doing more damage, but trust me, once you switch to defense and you see how beefy you get and how much you survive and being able to keep going, you're going to be amazed and you'll be addicted to it. So that's the route I went once I started switching over to defense, and it's totally changed my gameplay and orientation on focusing on survivability versus damage. So my damage might not be as great, but I will survive overall. So that's my suggestions for your current setup right now. If there's any new updates, feel free to give me a DM and we can go through the whole through fleet setup again. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, follow the logic of this, and if anybody needs some help, send me a DM in, and remember to mash that like button.